All right, you found your therapist, you attended the first session, it went okay, and you decided to go back. Now what? Number one, go to your appointments. This might seem a little bit self-explanatory. Of course you're gonna go to your appointments, but a lot of times we tend to prioritize stuff besides ourselves. Remember, these sessions are your time and your investment in yourself and your future. So make them a priority. Don't cancel the last minute. Don't just not show up because you're not feeling it that day. Be respectful of the counselor's time and your own, and realize that you're worth the effort to improve your life in this way. If you do have to cancel, just give them at least a day's heads up so they can fill that slot, because if you don't show up and nobody's there, they don't get paid. So just be conscientious of that. Give them at least a 24 hours notice if you need to cancel. And obviously last minute cancellations are acceptable as long as they're not a recurring problem. Realize that the hardest part is just showing up. It gets easy after that, and you're totally worth it. Take notes in session. Once you and your therapist start becoming a real working team, they're going to start having some insights into your life that might be really profound and accurate and helpful. And a lot of times when you're in session, it feels like you're going to remember it, but 90% of the time you walk out and you just don't remember those main points that they made. And you find yourself like, oh, what did they say? Or how did they put that? So take notes, because this allows you to retain that information and really dwell on it in a helpful way. This means that the benefits can last a little bit longer than a few minutes, and you can ruminate on the helpful aspects of therapy. It doesn't matter how you take notes, whether it's on your phone or a notepad, whatever's easiest for you, to jot down the things that they say or how they phrase something so that you can take it back and really let it impact you in more than just that hour slot. If you do use your phone, just make sure you mention like, hey, I'm taking notes on my phone. I'm not actually texting somebody. That's just a nice etiquette thing to do. It's also helpful to remember any homework that they give you by like jotting that down in your notes so you can review it and remind yourself of it. And once you've taken notes for a couple sessions, you can start looking back over your notes and recognize where you're improving and what's helpful and what's getting better for you. See, the notes that your therapist takes in session are called progress notes. So if they make them, why can't you make them for yourself? Number 3, include your social support. Now, social support could be family or friends or just anybody that you feel is trustworthy and would be supportive in your therapeutic growth process. So this is not somebody who maybe doesn't believe in therapy, or not somebody who doesn't really keep sacred the things that you tell them. These are people that are 100% for your growth and progress and are willing to just support you in whatever way that looks like. So if you do have some great supportive people like that in your life, consider telling them that, you know what, I made this appointment, I've been going to therapy a couple sessions now, it seems to be helping, and I just kind of want to let you know that that's what I'm doing so that you can support me in it. For example, verbally processing what you talked about in session with like a friend or a family member helps you retain that information and also helps you kind of understand things more clearly that you were talking about in the session with the therapist. And then that friend or family member who knows you can say, hey, you know what, that was a good point that they made, or oh, I can totally see that in you, or wow, that was really profound, that's important to recognize. And they can just start encouraging you and validating you on all these things that you're working through and the changes that you're making in your life that they recognize because they see the work that you're doing. I had a client the other day say that a cousin or friend of hers commented, are you going to therapy? And she was like, yeah, I've been going for a little while now. And the friend or cousin was like, keep doing that, it's working for you, you look a lot calmer. And of course my client took it as a compliment, but it was kind of cool that other people were seeing the progress in her, and that was really affirming for her that yes, I know that I'm making progress, but can other people that know me and are in my life see it too? And so it was super validating for her. Now remember, I'm not saying that you tell everybody that you're in therapy. Not everybody needs to know your sacred business. So pick the people that you trust, that are trustworthy and that are going to be responsive to this in a positive way, and maybe let them know about what you're working on in therapy, what your goals are, so that they can really bolster you and be that support that you need. If you're listening to me and you're like, well, that's great if I had those people in my life, but I don't. So if you're the kind of person who feels like they don't have somebody in their life that they can trust in that way, I would encourage you to talk to your therapist about that, because usually there's 1 or 2 people that might be available for that in your life, but maybe your insecurities or your distrust is keeping you from opening up. And I understand that. Vulnerability is scary, but it's also powerful and life-changing. So discuss that with your therapist to kind of work through like what is keeping you from opening up a little bit to people and giving yourself the potential of relationships so that you can have that social support. And if you're currently in therapy, let me know what's working best for you and applying the lessons that you're learning and keeping track of everything. I hope this was helpful for you. Let me know if I can help in any specific way, and join us next week on This Full Life with Kelly.